Hi, I'm with David Fasano, the founder of People's Choice Mortgage, and we're here to get a little bit more insight into the mortgage and real estate industry. How you doing today, David?
I'm doing well. Thank you, Travis.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much for being here. Now, a lot of first-time home buyers are jumping into the real estate market to take advantage of these rock bottom mortgage rates, but they've never gone through the home buying process before. So they're all out of sorts. They don't know what they need to necessarily do first. So my question to you is, what do they need to do first? Do they need to get a realtor or do they need to speak to a mortgage broker? What do you think is best?
Great question, Travis. I never understood why they always went to the real estate agent first without knowing exactly what their financing options were. So I've always not understood that. And I think, what people say is a lot of the realtors already have a relationship and they feel like they'll direct them to a mortgage guy, but that's not always in the best interest of the client. I think for the client, for the consumer, every mortgage company, based on the experience of the mortgage company or the person that you're working with, is going to be the outcome of what type of loan or loan options they give you. If they don't know all the loan options and they haven't been in the business, or they're not with a company that's heavily involved with making sure they're working with inexperienced, even if you've been in this business 2-3 years, you still got a lot to learn when it comes to the mortgage side and the products and the programs and the angles and understanding how you can look at a situation. Like last night, me and Steve DeMello were putting a deal together, and I said to Steve, it's like putting these loans together. How would anybody with 2 years experience know how to put this particular client together? And they wouldn't. They just wouldn't. So I think that, shopping around, I think getting multiple opinions is smart. I tell all my clients to go shop because I know that the experience they have with us, they're going to see, it gives us more worth when they actually go shop around. That's how I feel. That's how confident I am in our process. But what I try to advise everybody is 2, 3, 4 months before you think you're ready to buy, you should be working with a company. And if that company's not willing to put the time, energy, and effort in to develop you, there's your answer. So if you think you're ready to buy a house in 2-3 months, I want to already see tax returns, W-2s, pay stubs, bank statements, asset statements. The underwriter only sees 60 days of your whole life. From the day you sign a P&S backwards 60 days. If I have opportunities to look at everything and educate you on the process, and you understand what the underwriters want, what they're looking for. I'll give you an example. I have, a client that came in, makes plenty of money, but he has a bank account with 7 bounced checks, insufficient funds. That's a big no-no when an underwriter gets you fired. It had nothing to do with the fact that he couldn't pay it. He's just so busy. He's not paying attention. He didn't have his accounts linked, or he didn't go out and get an overdraft just to protect him during those months. A quick little, us picking that up immediately now is not something you want to be dealing with after your house is under contract. So that's just a little, bit of info. I'll tell you, I get a lot of people that will come in and they own rental property, or they might own. Now, I know you're talking first-time home buyers right now, so I don't want to get too far off track. But my point is, if they've never been through the process, they want to be sitting down, looking at their credit 2-3 months early, looking at their whole structure. We basically give a pre-approval subject to, if there's a couple of little things that they have to fix. Say there was a credit card that we recommend they pay down so their FICO score jumps up. We let them know that, hey, you've been on the job 1 year, 5 months. In 3 more months, you meet the threshold of the one. So we're able to let them know where they are in the process, how close they are to a full underwrite commitment, and what little things they might want to do to put themselves in a situation the day they put that house under contract. If we've already done all the due diligence, with 30 days, we're closing on time. The deals that get the headaches that you hear, and one of the biggest problems in the industry is they go in, they find a realtor. The realtor sends them over to the mortgage guy. The mortgage guy probably does a quick phone interview because these people want to buy a house Saturday. We're looking at it right now. I'm with the realtor. I get these calls all the time. And I sit there and I'm like shaking my head going, you've never got pre-approved. You don't know where you stand. You're with a realtor. You want to go look at a property right now. It's Saturday at 7 o'clock, and you need me to now work on a deal. That's very that's not proactive. Okay, that's just not the right way to do it. And those are the deals that wind up having problems as you're going through the process because you didn't have enough time to get all the things clean, not cleaned up, but ready for to go through underwriting properly. So I don't understand why they go to realtors first. I do own a real estate company as well, so we are able to get them right in. Our realtors are trained. You do not take a client out unless the VOEs are done. Verification of employment, tax returns, pay stubs, all the documentation that's going to an underwriter, until all that's been vetted and then run through what's called automated underwriting, and we get a full Fannie Mae or FHA underwritten approval. I attach that to our pre-approval. And every document that borrower is supposed to submit to underwriting, we've already vetted, made sure it's going to meet the guidelines because we've been doing this for so long. And now that borrower has a very powerful it's even more powerful than an approval because we got the underwriting findings attached to it. So when our client is making an offer, our offer stands out over all the other people's offers because we add that element of the underwriting component. And so that's the proper way to go through the process. It is done ass backwards 80% of the time. But most of my clients that we have, we're working with 4, 5, 6 months in advance. And preparing them. They want to know their payment. You got to prepare them for all these things. They know their budget. You never want to put people in to a home they're going to be house poor. Worst thing they can do. Number one reason for divorce in this country is financial stress. And that's the truth. It's the number one reason. So if you're putting people in over their head, listen, the agencies, whether they're Fannie, FHA, right now with the fact that housing is so high, most people's debt ratios are maxed out to the very tippity top that they're allowed to buy to. And even though you can be approved to that, it may not be the most comfortable thing for you to do right now. So sometimes we have to give people other options. Maybe they're better off renting a little longer. Maybe listen, we don't put people in homes unless we don't advise them unless it's what I would want to do for my own family. Like we try to give them the pros and cons. We give them all the options. We show people usually up to 3 or 4 different options. We let them choose, and we do try to do some financial education so we don't put them in a position that 2-3 months in, they're pissed they bought the house because they're struggling with paying bills, electric, heat, gas. These are things a lot of people aren't used to when they're in a rental situation. They get that rent, but now you got the lawn, you got the yard, you got so we try to just make sure we educate them, and it is something that I think they should be getting into 3-4 months before they find the realtor.
All right. Thank you very much for your insight and your time. It's awesome talking to you as always. Thank you so much.